Okay, hello everyone. My name is Charlene from Sistership Circle, and I'm here today with the beautiful Heather Allison, who I get the pleasure of interviewing, and we get the opportunity to find out all about what she's up to. So I'm going to ask you, Heather, to start off by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about what it is that you do.
I This is so funny. I just got back from an event where somebody asked me what I do, and I was like, this changes every single day. I think every single time I answer this question, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start just owning the fact that I'm like a river and nothing stays the same from day to day. I'm Heather Allison. I am what I've kind of gotten in the habit of calling myself is a feminine energy coach or a goddess coach. um, an accidental cosmic shaman tends to be something I also talk about, which I can share with you a little bit more about that as well. And I guide my clients through connecting more deeply with the archetypes, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So it's not just actually about bringing back the feminine, it's actually about bringing back the kind of the divine marriage, if you will, and the divine union of those two, in service of, well, quite frankly, none of us have gotten to remember that we have especially the feminine in us. It's been kind of conditioned out of us. We've been raised in and lived within a very masculine, and especially a wounded masculine paradigm for thousands of years. And so I help connect them back to that energy, that archetype, that energy pattern, if you will, in service of remembering who they really are and what they're really capable of, and finding what I always like to share is that everything that we desire, love, ease, our intuition, magic, pleasure, everything that we tend to like hold up as things that we want to feel is found in the feminine, because she exists in the mystery. And that's where those things, you can't like plot out your path to pleasure on a spreadsheet, right? Like, so it's really reconnecting us to that archetype that's within us and inherently a part of us, so that we get to have those things. We get to have that ease and flow, and that deeper connected love, and more pleasure in our lives. And so I do that through my course called, which is backwards, I think, on screen, but my primary course called Goddess Army. And then I'm just launching, after having beta tested, I'm just launching a program called Goddesspreneur for feminine entrepreneurs who want to tap into that same kind of ease and flow and the love story of their business. And then I also offer a smaller, just kind of mini course for women who really feel like they just want to tap into their intuition a bit more, into the magic, into the mystery a bit more. That's called Cosmic Shaman. So I'm busy lately, but it's really, really fun, and it's really good.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds like you're up to so many interesting things. And I love how you're combining you're bringing in the divine masculine as well, and not forgetting about that, not ignoring it. It's
Yeah.
like you see that it's an essential part. And it really feels like such a hot topic right now with this whole Me Too thing, that's the Me Too campaign that's going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I always share about that is, if we were really just bringing back the feminine, we would, and forgetting about the masculine, and it's so common too. And so many of my clients get into the feminine. So I love how we're just diving straight in, and get into the feminine. Then they have this kind of this fear or rejection of the masculine, or this anger, and really want to kind of leave it out, because it's where it's at is obviously in the feminine. And if we do that, when we're doing that, we're really just bringing along more wound, because we're causing just a different kind of imbalance. And so in my experience, we just kind of fall back into similar patterns. They just happen to show up in the opposite way, or in the other way, but we're really still rejecting a really deep part of us, and a very important part of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love your name, Goddess Army, which I can see it is actually the correct name
Oh,
behind
good.
it,
Oh,
the
good.
correct way.
Okay.
And it seems to me to really be this perfect combination of the feminine and masculine. So I get the image of the goddess, and then army, which has a more masculine feel to it. So it really speaks for itself in that name.
Thanks so much. That came to me intuitively, and I've had people feel a little funky about it at times when they're like, "Oh, I've never joined something called Goddess, called Army, with the word Army in it." And part of this is similar to how we're bringing back kind of the more love filled and whole and holistic meaning of feminine, where we've been kind of taught this connotation of her as weakness or too vulnerable or not good enough or whatever that looks like. I'm doing the same thing with this word, which is there's another definition of the word army, which is simply people coming together for a purpose. And so I get to just share that with people whenever there is kind of a reaction like that. And that's okay if it doesn't resonate too. It's just, this might not be the work that's calling them, but we get to bring back connotations, as you see a lot of symbol and a lot of words have taken on connotations that we kind of instantly get into the energy of rejection with them. And in my experience, there's often an opposite truth about them as well. And so that's kind of the energy that I'm bringing back to kind of find our holistic nature again and find our wholeness again.
Yeah, I love that. It's like looking at the shadow, looking at what is triggered by these words and symbols and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what is alive and fresh for you right now in your business, aside from all the other things that you've done?
Yeah. I'd say the thing that is probably, I didn't prepare my answers for you, so I like to go off the cuff instead. The thing that's most alive for me right now is I literally am 1 week past giving my very first talk, my very first public speaking engagement. And it was actually kind of funny because it was 20-minute kind of TED Talk length. I was speaking, the event started Thursday, I was speaking Saturday. I was like, great, I'll get to kind of integrate and get to know people and it won't feel so scary. And I had my notes because I was like, I'm not going to worry about being perfect in this talk. I'm not going to memorize this whole thing. It's my first time. I'm just going to give myself a breather here. So I had my notes on a tablet. And Saturday morning of this event, everything got turned on its head. Everything about the entire conference, event, whatever you want to call it, this retreat. And so everything that I had thought that I had to count on, including length of time, including when I was going on, even including my microphone, which is an over ear, but I have small ears and I have a lot of hair and it just was like not working. So I had to swap out for a handheld halfway through my talk. And then I got about halfway through and the woman in the back was like, 5 minutes. I was like, oh, and so I had to kind of machine gun through the points of so nothing went to plan. Nothing at all went to plan. It all fell apart. But I kind of feel like what I call my cosmic team was like, oh, you're so cute that you think that you get all of this structure to count on. And we're just going to throw everything into the fire and you get to do it anyway. And I did. And it was actually fine. And I actually had women, of course, I was beating myself up because it was not as I wanted it to go. But I had women come up and say that they really resonated with the message, that it was their favorite part of the morning. And so for me, just to underline why I'm sharing this is it feels like the beginning of the next phase of my process, which is I've always had a massive fear of public speaking. And even being on video and interviews and stuff has been a source of anxiety for me until more recently. And so it just feels like not only did I do it, I did it facing this total unknown. This, like, everything that I thought I got to count on was dismantled, and I still did it, and I still survived, and I'm still okay, and I get to start, and now I actually have this fire burning in me that I was like, I want to share this talk, because I didn't actually get to do it fully. So I want to go out and find more places to give it. So wow. That's the biggest thing that I'm working through right now.
Yeah, wow, amazing. And congratulations for getting out there and shining your light. It almost sounds like you had this initiation into really stepping into public speaking and really surrendering to the feminine and the flow of, not having any structure, that stepping into the mystery almost and the unknown and just surrendering to that. And you did it, and you're here to tell the tale. And now the fire is burning even brightly and you're pumped up, ready to go.
Yeah. I love that you said that. Yeah, totally. Because when they told me initially that my talk was going to be adjusted, I was like, "You got the right girl for this," because I'm all steeped in the feminine. This is perfect. We can just go with the flow, no problem. But there obviously are still like vestiges of what I call a wounded masculine. That's like, but where's the control? But what do I get to count on? How do I know this is going to go right? And I got to just like absolutely step through that because I had no choice. Well, I did have a choice. I could have run. I could have hid, especially afterwards. I still had that energy in me that was like, run and hide, go away, like just go, run. And I didn't. I just chose to open through, and it was really beautiful. And I led a workshop in that afternoon that was so beautiful, and we sat in circle on the lawn in the setting sun under a tree. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Really amazing. And tell me, what was it that had you like get onto this path, and why have you chosen to be here? Like, what's your big why?
This is probably my favorite part of the story. This is why I call myself an accidental cosmic shaman, because quite literally about 2.5 years ago, just everything about my life just got shaken, and I'm noticing a theme. Everything got turned on its head. I feel like I kind of got plucked out of my normal kind of corporate 9-to-5. I really had no idea what the feminine was. I really didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't fancy myself as being very intuitive. But I'd started kind of exploring some of this work, mostly because I wanted to figure out why this is probably 4 years ago, I wanted to figure out why I kept finding the wrong relationships or why they kept failing. And it was enough, though, this kind of surface exploration of these archetypes in a very mainstream kind of like how to get that guy kind of way was enough to crack me open to the point where I started getting messages, and I started feeling myself called to go deeper into the archetypes. And then at some point, late 2015, I started essentially having conversation with a gentleman on the other side, let's just say. Didn't know that was possible for me. And so since then I've been getting a lot more information, especially around like kind of the inner workings, the energetic workings, and kind of what I call like quantum workings of the archetypes. And so interestingly, I don't come from, my path hasn't been I guess what I would assume is the traditional exploration of the feminine, which is like earthy, right? Grounded body, coming from like rising up and being remembered from the earth. Mine seems to be coming through kind of cosmic connection, kind of more of like bringing through the divine feminine through the divine masculine. And so I think that's where my work maybe resonates a little differently, or that I'm bringing in a bit of a different channel around it. And I guess my biggest why really is just to return us to unity, to return us to union. And so everything about my work is connecting to the duality in service of healing them, in service of like bringing them and allowing them to come together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that vision of the unity, and how your path is very different. It's not that kind of traditional earth-based, as you said. You've come in through a different way, and just you're flowing with that. I love that.
Yeah. And my task is because I do tend to want to kind of fly off the planet a little bit and go like straight out to the ether. It really is, my task is, and this work is bringing this in and embodying it fully. And so there are still a lot of practices, because that is so needed. We have spent most of our life up here kind of, I always say, like squeeze like toothpaste tubes, right? Like kind of just living from up in these upper chakras, which I view as the masculine, because they're very external based. And so much of this work is really bringing all of that from up here all the way down in here, and reconnecting again in unity with our feminine, our seat of the feminine.
Yeah, great. And what has like stepping into feminine leadership involved for you?
Well, and this is what I teach in Goddesspreneur. It's that the existing paradigm of business is dying, because it has to. Because again, it was founded on this wounded masculine, or at least just primarily binary masculine, meaning there was no feminine. There has been no feminine approach or energy in business. And early on, especially because I'm new to this, I was always a 9-to-5 girl. And so I've never had a business of my own before. And so I was looking at everybody else's template and how are they doing it? What are they doing over there? And how does that work? And maybe I should do more of that. Maybe I should be working. I have to do this now. But because of what I'm bringing in, I was very, very held to the point where I'm like put in a total like cosmic timeout when I'm not. I'm really held to doing my business in the feminine, because that is what I'm birthing, like helping to birth here. That is what I'm helping to kind of remember on this planet, is how to be in that connected space, in that space of flow, in that space of receiving first, instead of just going by the to-do list and like all the things that we think that we need to be doing, or that we should look like, or that how our businesses should function, our human idea of what business is. Allowing ourselves to actually receive inspiration and feeling and guidance and whatever else you want to call it, first, like being the channel for it first, and then taking that masculine action in service of it. And so it really has been a constant learning and a constant relearning how to rely on that, and how to be okay in the void when that happens, because it does, and not freak out and want to have like, what do I do? How do I push through? And because there's so much gold to be found in this void. When there's nothing happening, when you're being held in a space of non-movement, I find that it's usually because there's something that wants to be found by you here before you can kind of move forward.
Yeah, it's like trusting and surrendering, and trusting that there's a gift in that, and that you'll be guided at the right time to take the right action.
Yeah. The other really important thing for me too in this changing into kind of the feminine paradigm of business is it's no longer this kind of top-down guru, teacher, I can tell you what to do. It's this like kind of the mudra I received around it is just this arms underneath. You're just helping to support and invite and be an offering to your clients or to your customers, or whatever that looks like. There is no more this, you have to do it this way, or you have to follow what I say. It is this like really arms out, connected, loving offering.
It sounds like such a beautiful, welcoming invitation. And just by you saying that, it just makes me feel so relaxed and like, yeah, that's so nice.
Oh, I'm so glad. I love that.
Yeah. And I know that you're a member in Sistership Circle's facilitated tribe, and I'd love to know what it is that you take away from the tribe, and what it is that you get from being in the tribe.
Yeah, and in total transparency, I have not been active for a little while because I've been so focused on this speech I've been 6 months in planning, and so because I was in really deep service of receiving it, not thinking that I knew what I should talk about, but actually letting myself fully just receive intuitively what this talk was. And so there was just a lot of work and getting out of my own way that kind of came with that. So my focus has been elsewhere. But the reason I joined and the reason I love the space is, again, because I don't come from that space. This work doesn't seem to come from, like I said, I just feel like it's the rising of the feminine from the earth, like I was talking about. Like there's this deep physical, in-person touch, ritual, ceremony, those things that I bring in, but I bring in through here, right? Like I bring in the inspiration and information from it through here. And so I love this space so much because I get to learn and help myself kind of reconnect in a more embodied and grounded and rooted in way, like kind of come up from below as well at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like it gives you another perspective, like you know that you're channeling and receiving from here, and whereas in the Sistership Circle tribe and the facilitated tribe, it gives you the opportunity to kind of let it come in another way, a different way. which
Yeah.
sounds very complementary to you and
Mm-hmm.
everything that you're offering as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And would you be willing to lead me and the viewers through one of your offerings or through a process right now?
Yeah, I think what I'm feeling called to do is I like to take my clients on shamanic journeys. I've received a lot of information, a lot of journeys intuitively, and then later I'll see like, oh, that's actually a thing. Like, that's really cool. So I like to lead my clients on journeys, and I think what I'm feeling called to today is to help you and our viewers to retrieve a message that hasn't quite been fully received yet, if that makes sense. And I'll make more sense of it as we go. I'll give you more information. But the reason for that is what I teach my clients is, especially when we're kind of trying to tap in a little bit more and connect more to our dreams, to our intuition, to our guidance. I believe we all have a team, like a cosmic team of some sort. And definitely our soul is that when we are in the habit of hearing and taking steps in service of, meaning honoring what we get in some form or another, we will hear more and we will be guided more. And this is not my perspective alone, that the idea that if we're not really listening, if we're not fully listening, they stop talking as much. And so I always like to share journeys like this to kind of kickstart a little bit, to give you the impetus to kind of receive a bit more of a message, so that you can take steps in service of it, and so that you can open up into that channel a little bit more.
Beautiful. That sounds like a great opportunity, and I'm definitely up for getting in touch with those guides and receiving some guidance. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so are you ready, or is there anything else before we dive in?
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready if you are.
Cool, yeah. So go ahead and close your eyes and just invite your energy into your center. Our brains are so often so busy and out there, focused on everything else that we have to get done. So allow yourself just to kind of sweep in all of those thoughts, all of those scattered thought forms. Bring them into center. And even notice this act of closing our eyes, how it connects us with the invisible realm so much more powerfully. And how often do we actually give ourselves this gift during our day, where the physical disappears and we connect really deeply with what's inside of us, what's outside of us that we cannot see. I invite you to start breathing a little bit more deeply, noticing where your breath falls as you inhale. Maybe it's just coming to your clavicles, maybe it's coming to your heart center, maybe it's coming to the bottom of your lungs. See if you can invite it even deeper. Bringing your breath all the way down to your belly, softening your belly on the inhale, letting it expand and out in all directions. Letting your muscles have rest here, letting yourself be held up by your bones only. Letting your next breath come even deeper, maybe placing your right hand on your womb space, bringing your breath all the way down here to your hips, to your pelvis, to your sacral bowl. And allow your consciousness to follow. Allow your consciousness to drop down here as well. Bringing your entire awareness down here, as if you're standing here in the center of your womb, this seat of the feminine. As your eyes start to adjust, your inner eyes or your inner senses, whether you actually see or you just sense or know or have an idea of, let your inner eyes adjust. And see a temple before you starting to take shape. Noticing the entryway into this temple. Maybe it's a door, maybe it's simply an opening. Maybe it's a curtain that needs to be moved aside. Whatever it is, find yourself stepping through the entrance into this inner womb temple. And notice how gorgeous it is in here. How beautiful. Notice the furnishings, the touches, the light, the fragrances. Notice how the air feels on your skin. Notice if there's sound. Just let yourself receive what this temple looks like inside. And feel how it feels to stand here, inside your womb temple. In the center of this temple, you notice a table. And there are 3 beautiful boxes sitting on top. Each is a different color, each is made out of a different material. Notice what these are. Notice what they're made of. Notice if one especially draws you with its energy. You suddenly have a deep knowing that inside this box is something that you're being asked to remember about a dream or a message that wants to be more fully received by you. As you step closer, you allow yourself to reach out and open this box, open the lid, and look inside. With all of your senses, notice what's inside. Maybe you see something, maybe you have a sense of what it is, maybe you just know. Maybe it just appears in your mind. Maybe you just have an idea. Might be an object or a word or a symbol, a color, a message, maybe even a place. What is it? What do you find in this box? Take this element, this symbol or message, or even this place out of the box and just hold it in your hands. What might this message, this object, this symbol want you to know? What might it want you to remember? What reason could it be asking to be more fully received? And in what way, large or small, might you be able to honor it? As you begin to ponder this and start committing this item to memory, committing these ideas, these messages, these thoughts to memory, feeling into this item in your hands. This temple, you notice, begins to fade around you now. And you realize that you're meant to take this message, this dream element, this intuitive gift with you and return to your waking mind with it. The door of the temple is still visible behind you, and so you turn, thanking this space, this moon temple, this space of your deep and ancient knowing. And you make your way back to your present mind, your wakeful consciousness, your center. And you begin to rise slowly up your midline, bringing this message with you. As you rise up through your heart center, take another deep breath. Just breathing in and anchoring in everything you've just received. And allow your eyes to open just slightly, letting a bit of light in at the bottom of your vision. Keeping your eyes soft, take another deep breath in and just start to slowly raise your eyelids and start taking in the real room around you. How is that for you?
It was very delicious. I feel like it was, just what I need right now. I loved going there. It felt so peaceful.
Good.
Yeah, really
I have to
amazing.
tell you, the sole of my left foot is heating up, and when that happens, that usually tells me that there's some sort of something on the feminine that's being transmuted. So I don't know what that was, but as soon as I heard you speak, that started heating up. So there must be something for you there.
Yeah. So can I share with you what
Please, I was just going to ask if you would.
Yeah, of course. So as soon as I was in my womb space, I saw myself holding a rose, like this beautiful red rose, and I actually have this this rose here, which is really special and dear to me, and it really means a lot to me in terms of my own kind of healing journey and where I'm going. So it was like I was holding, I didn't think it was this one, but I was holding this down there. And then I went into the temple, which was just so beautiful. And I almost felt as if I was entering into a Tantra temple of some sort. And I felt like I was in India, and it was colorful and beautiful and so sensual. It was a really sensual, candles, beautiful smells, lots of different materials and colors. And it was really, I love being in there, and I want to go back there.
Yeah.
I feel like
go, you have the recording, hang out there.
Exactly. And then the boxes, I saw there was a wooden kind of bamboo one on the bottom. In the middle one, there was this, it was gold, and it had lots of gems and things surrounding it, and then on the top was like a satin kind of box.
I love that they were stacked. I've never heard of that before. That's really interesting to me.
Oh. Yeah. So I chose the one in the middle that was most appealing to me. And then inside there was lots of rose petals, and then there was an ancient scroll. And I opened up the ancient scroll, and it said in there, "You are awakening," which is so interesting because I relate this. I'm in the process of writing a book at the moment, which is about feminine awakening and that kind of stuff. And then, so I saw that the scroll, and I held it towards me, and it was like the message was to hold on to this. But also in the box was a wedding ring, my wedding ring. And interestingly, I've just actually ordered a new wedding ring because I haven't worn my wedding ring for years. And I really see how I feel like this all ties into, and another message was this opening and flowering of kind of sexual energy, if you like. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is so where I'm at right now, and what I'm kind of needing to open more, to fully kind of blossom and bloom and share my gifts with the world. So
can I share with you a couple of reflections, just and you can take or leave these as always. I had chills down my right side when you what did you, maybe it was the scroll. No, maybe it was when you said, I can't remember now, maybe it was when you said the awakening piece, which is the right side, right? So it's the masculine side, which the leg is all about kind of like moving forward powerfully and like kind of achieving our goals and taking action and all that. And interestingly, I love that. So I love that speaks to, you're writing a book about feminine awakening. My masculine side got kind of the tingles with your message of awakening. The wedding ring speaks to me of that union again, right? The marriage of the two. And so it feels like, again, sexual energy as well, because we have to have, like it's the polarity that creates the sexual energy. So it feels like there's a little bit of that kind of masculine kind of waking up for you as well in service of this. But super interestingly, I received, before we hopped on this call today, I received that Thoth was present. Are you familiar with him? So he's an Egyptian deity that is about, he's a scribe. And so he's all about like divine knowledge, divine wisdom, and writing it down and like delivering it. Essentially, he's also connected to like Hermes, Mercury, and Metatron, I believe, Archangel Metatron. But anyway, so I thought that was super fascinating. That all of this, the scroll, that like all of this, I just wanted to offer that to you in case it helped drop down anything else for you.
Yeah, wow, that is just incredible. Sometimes if I'm chanting or doing meditation or something, I'd often see like ancient Egyptian symbols. So it's so
there might be
amazing
something
that
for you.
yeah, wow. I love how you are using your body as a way of really being able to give some sort of feedback and further offering to what you've just taken me through. That is incredible, amazing. And
thank you. It was a surprise to me when it started happening. I was like, what is this? Why am I tingling here? What does that mean here? So this is one of the things that's kind of been awakening for me in the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, the whole wedding ring and just seeing that marriage of the masculine and feminine, so beautiful, so powerful. Thank you so much. Wow, what a gift. So I hope that our viewers watching will allow themselves to go through this process and see what they get. And
email me or something, Facebook me something. Tell me. I would love to hear about your experiences too, if you're willing to share.
Yeah. So where would people be able to email you or find out more about you?
Yeah, easiest place is heather-allison.com, ALLISON. It's also goddess-army.com. Takes you to the same place. And you can message me on there. You can get my free gift, which is what I call Goddess Manifesto. It comes with transmission as well, for remembering and awakening this energy within us. And if I suppose if you're interested, if you feel called to kind of exploring some of this work a little bit more fully, there's literally, I've been guided over the past year to create a version of this work for every single lifestyle and every single budget. So there is something that is possible for everyone in this work, from like the lightest experience to the deepest dive, and the most kind of exclusive dive, which is I take 15 women every year now. I'm being guided that it's only once a year. It used to be twice, so now it's kind of become even more of a tight knit and kind of deep experience with me personally, and so there's the whole spectrum of experience if anybody feels called to go deeper.
What a beautiful invitation. And I'd love you to share what's next for you.
Well, actually, I have a couple of books that want to come through for me as well. So they've been in process. I've been getting some information about them already. I've been getting some of their information already. I've been getting some of the content. And so what feels like it's kind of coming next is figuring out what that looks like. So is that self-publishing? Is that working with a publisher? Is that, kind of putting these things together? So I get a lot of information and kind of combining it is where I feel like I'm going to have that's probably my biggest challenge for me personally. And also an Oracle deck card, which I'm really excited about releasing finally.
Wow, amazing. And I hope you'll let us know when they come through and they're here so we can all enjoy and benefit from them, because it sounds like there's a lot that you can offer through your writing and through the Oracle deck, as well as everything that you're doing as well. And I've just had this mind-blowing, body-blowing experience, which I'm really grateful for. So
That makes me so happy.
so much.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, for spending this time and allowing me to get to know more about you. I'm so excited to see what's happening for you and to follow you and to see, where you're taking yourself, your feminine leadership, and all the women and all the people that you're going to and you are helping and supporting through what you do, shining
thank you
light.
so much, love. This is so much fun, and I'm so elated. I geek out a little bit on this stuff, so I'm so elated that you had such a powerful experience.
Yeah, really beautiful. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, love. This is really fun.